أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده سيدنا محمد رسول الله المصطفى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين بارك وسلم. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Blessings and salutations convey upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad SAW. We greet you, those who are viewers, those who are attending this interview whenever you are. We have a visitor here. We have an interviewer to the Grand Mufti of South Africa regarding today, which is the 12th of Nabi a day which Nabi Sallah aleihwasallama was born. He said it was Amul Fil is named the year of the elephant, as we shall see. So all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all thanks, all gratitude has given us the chance to be here. We are still breathing, gave us the name of Islam, gave us the nur of Nabi Sallah when he sent him as mercy the entire universe. Our session today, we have got our sister aleih here. Her name is anonymous. She came to clarify regarding the Milad of Nabi Sallah. Can you give salam?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Grand Mufti of South Africa, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all our viewers. Question number 1. I would like to ask Mufti, please tell us what is the ruling in Islam regarding the Milad, the celebration of Nabi Sallah, the celebration regarding his birth. And other people, they say it is bid'ah, others they don't say that, they celebrate. Is it permissible in Islam to host a milad, to celebrate the birth of the Prophet ﷺ, like how people are doing nowadays and have been doing in the past years?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That question is a very good question to ask in a day like this, Rabiul Awwal, which is the 12th of Rabiul Awwal, regarding the celebration of the birth of Nabi Sallallahu the day he was born. Just the way how our sister Alima has said, has questioned, is it permissible in Islam like other people are doing? The answer to that question, I'll have to take you through what does Islam says about the birth or celebrating the birth of any prophet. Because before Allah sent Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said before him prophets like Nabi Musa, Nabi Isa, Nabi Ibrahim, Nabi Yunus, Nabi Dawud, Nabi Sulaiman. Have those prophets, has any of those prophets celebrated, or have any people celebrated their birth as well? Or is it only Nabi Sallallahu, I mean the believers? And the answer to this question is like this. We have to look at first and foremost, before we reach at the point of celebrating the birth of Nabi Sallallahu, we must know the personality, the individual person of Nabi Sallallahu, who is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and how do we have to celebrate his birth, and is it permissible in Islam, or is it unpermissible as it has been said? Normally, people who are great in this, those who achieve great things in this life, people always gather and remember them. They create some kind of a memorial to remember someone, his achievement. For example, in South Africa here, remember the day when Mandela passed away. But on that day when he passed away, they remember his achievement of delivering South Africa from apartheid to the independent and democracy which we are living today. And some other people, presidents, professors, those who achieve great things in life, they become a memory to the people. Now the point here, the question is, should we remember Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Can we gather to remember what has he done? And why should we do it on the day he was born? Celebrating his birth, the day he was born on earth. Now, to answer your question, it is very vital and very important to remember and speak about how Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born in Islam. That is very important. So that a person who is not Muslim must understand that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born with a father and a mother, because his predecessors, among them, the one whom he inherited, the one whom he came after, Nabi Sallallahu was born as a miracle, only with a mother. There was no father in his birth. Now, when Nabi Sallallahu came, we have to know about his birth. How was he born? Was it also like Nabi Isa, no father, but only mother is involved in his birth? That can say a point why you must always focus on how Nabi Sallallahu was born. And another thing, how did he die? Because the one who came after Nabi Sallallahu never died. He disappeared. According to the Bible or non-Muslim or the Christian, they think they captured him because they didn't want his message. The leaders of that time, the king, he sent his army, those who came to arrest him and kill him by crucifixion, meaning they made a tree with a cross like this, and have nailed his hand and his head and killed him there. He spent 3 days on that death place as a punishment, together with others who were criminals, according to them. But according to Quran, what Allah has told us is that when they came to arrest him, Nabi Sallallahu, Allah made someone of the people around him to look like him. Then ordered the angel to rise to take Nabi Isa in the heaven. Until now he's in the heaven. Allah says, وَمَا صَلَبُوهُ, they never managed to touch him, they never killed him, وَمَا قَتُلُوهُ يَقِينًا, he never died. Now that's a reality. So his predecessor, that's about Nabi Isa. So Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu, we must know about him as well. Yes, he was born a normal birth. He had a father, his name was Abdullah, and there was a mother, her name was Amina. She was 9 months pregnant, she gave a normal birth, and when his time came to leave this earth, when he was 63 years, he died a normal death. And was buried in Medina, where if you go there, you can see his grave and you say, that's the grave of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, to put those two incidents that happened to a human together, the Ummah realized the need to keep this as something important, that to always remember the day he was born on earth. When was he born? How was he born? So that he does really exist as a message to strengthen those who are in Islam, and for those who are outside Islam want to join Islam. They must know who is their prophet. How was he born? If this is not being acknowledged, a person who doesn't know Islam, and those who are within Islam, children who are born, they will never know how their Nabi was born. They will know he died. They will know one thing, that there was a man called Nabi Sallah, he was born, he was sent as a messenger, but they never knew how he came. Does he came from the heaven? Or if he was born, who was his father? Who was his mother? So that is a natural question which needs to be answered. It doesn't need to have a lot of clarification from the Sunnah to say that this hadith says you must celebrate the path of Islam. No, it is the message of Islam he brought that tells the entire people of this world that we need to know about the Prophet. That's why those who lived before us, the ulama, There's a need to teach our communities, our own wives and children, about Nabi Sallah, how he was born, how he lived, how he came on earth, and what took place. That is very, very important. Now, that's one point from our perspective. But now, let's see it, the perspective of Allah's way. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who spoke about the birth of the prophets. Allah spoke about how Nabi Ismail was born. That's the first prophet Allah spoke about. He told us how Nabi Ibrahim and Hajara had a child, Ismail, and how he took that child to Mecca, where there is a Kaaba, or the Kaaba was built. Today we go every year for the Hajj and Umrah. And then that Nabi Ismail from his mother Hajar. Then when it came to the birth of Nabi Musa, Allah told us about from the beginning of how his mother conceived. Allah himself, in the Quran that we believe in, as the believers, as the Muslim, Allah celebrated the birth of Nabi Musa alayhi salam by acknowledging it, by mentioning it. And to the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, people will be reading about how Nabi Musa was born. Allah tells us when the time of Nabi Musa's birth was such a very difficult time that the ruler, the king who was Pharaoh at that time, he ordered that every child of a slave that is born and is a son must be killed. Now, mother of Nabi Musa was among the slaves. And she knew, if I give birth to my son, they're going to kill him. So this worry came in her as a woman. Because of worrying to save her son, she made too much of doubt. Allah says, Ya Allah, what must I do? Show me the way to save my son. That time they never allowed the slaves to get married, because the king allowed and ordered the soldiers must go and sleep and rape the wives of the slaves. So that even if they give birth to children, it must be their children, the children who belong to the Pharaoh's tribe. Allah says, Kanu yastahuna nisa'ahum. They used to rape the women of the slaves. Allah says in Quran, as one of the fitna which came to the slaves or the people of Israel during the time of Pharaoh. Now, among those who Allah saved, those who came as soldiers to do that is the father of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. There was no such kind of a marriage or a family for them, because they weren't allowed to have a family, to have a marriage, to have a formal celebration like they do it. Is they were slaves. They had such laws where you can't live as a family, and they had nothing to do with it. That's why they are monitoring them. That if they give a birth to any child who is a boy, must be killed. So among those who were in the army of the Pharaoh was the man who became the father of Nabi Musa alayhi salam was among the slaves, but he was as soldier into the Pharaoh who loved her. Allah made that bond to unite together, and when time came, she conceived her son. So he can't come out and say, I am the father, here is my wife. It was prohibited and not acceptable that time. That's why it remained a secret, that he can't come and say, I am the father of my son here, who was named Musa after he was born. Now the wife was on her own, how to save her son. And that Allah gave her a dream. She saw in the dream that Allah is showing her she's making a boat, a small boat, a boat which she will use on the waters to swim. So she's making a small boat, quite big, not too big, that can accommodate a child. So and she's placing her child into that boat and put the child into the water. So she woke up after she woke up, she says, so I must put my child into the water. I'm afraid of him being killed by these oppressors, the soldiers of the king. But he is going to die of the waters into the ocean. How can I do it? So she was confused between the two, and she was little bit hesitant to do that. She was more frightened to put her son in the water than at least pleading to the soldiers they come to kill him. So she became adamant on that. Then Allah sent Ruhullah who came not in a human form, but as a person who is closer to her. She never knew he's an angel who is here. But he inspired her and says, continue and do that. Allah will protect her. Allah will bring her. Allah is going to protect him. Nothing will happen to him. And Allah will bring him back to you. And you're going to give him his best feeding as a mother. In a peaceful environment. That was something she felt. She says, oh, that means Allah will do this for me. So she had this kind of a voice coming to her and telling her, Allah says to Al-Qasas, إِنَّهُ رَادُوا إِلَيْكَ وَجَعِلُهُ مِنَ الْمُسْتَعِينَ. You are going to give him back to you and you are going to give him his breastfeeding. Allah says, after she gave birth to the child, she had finished to make that small boat with the fear, but she continued, placed the child into that small boat, and then took herself in a night where nobody is seeing, and placed that same small child, which is just been born, into that who is inside that small boat, and put that child in the water. When she came back home, Allah says, فَأَصْبَحَ فُؤَادُ أُمِّ مُوسَى فَارِغًا. As a mother, she was so much frightened. She feared that maybe her son is going to die in the water. With each every day which was passing, she wanted to know about the news of what if someone has found a child, maybe, and she doesn't know what to do next. Allah says she was about to talk. This must be secret. Don't tell anybody. When you put him, this is Allah's command. When you put him into his boat, smaller boat, and put in the water, don't tell anyone. It's secret. If you tell anybody, the plan is dead, is gone, is dead. Because they will know he is a son of a slave and they'll kill him. But she could not keep quiet. Allah says, she was about to talk, to send a soldier and say, please, go over the waters and check if there's a child who is there and capture that boat and hide somewhere else. I'll come find you. How can I see my child? When she was about to tell a soldier that, go help me, I put my child into the boat and I put in the water, please save him, Allah send the bird. That bird came and just jumped on her head like this, boom. When the bird came on her head, she got so frightened and then she just lost her focus. She never continued. And then she went back home. Every time she tries to go tell someone, that same bird will come always and jump on her head. And then she goes back home. That bird was an angel which Allah put him there to make it happen. That she must not say any word. Allah says Al-Qasas that she was about to say, if we never if we never hold and tie her heart, not to tell anybody about her son. Now, this is the birth of Nabi Musa. Allah himself is celebrating the birth of, is telling us about the birth of his prophet Nabi Sallah, Nabi Musa alayhi salam. How was he born? What took place? What transpired? And this Allah did not reveal this in Tawrat, in the book which Allah sent to him in Tawrat. Allah never speak too much about this, about him. But Allah spoke about him too much in the Quran. He spoke about him in Tawrat, that how he was a young child, how he grew up, but the detail of how he was born and what took place, Allah put into the Quran. For us to read, to know about the birth of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. This takes you to understand how important is the birth of a prophet. It's not something which you can just leave it in the books and forget about it. It has to live with you. Because there's a person which you are going to believe as a prophet of Allah and follow him. So you must know about his personality. And first you need to know how did he came on earth. How was he born? And how he grew up. And how he became a prophet. And where did he get the message from? All those are to authenticate the message of Islam step by step. How it started. How it started to have Islam today. And why is it true? Why should I become a Muslim? Why should I remain into Islam? Is strengthened by knowing from the birth of the Prophet until when he grew and until when he started to bring his message. Now, briefly, as I brought Nabi Musa to show you how Allah celebrates the birth of the prophets, and Nabi Musa is one of it. So, for 40 days, this child was in water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fed him, protected him, and then the water pushed this child in the boat until it reached to the palace. But the palace was built in such a way that the water of the river Nile, which is the river Nile, was flowing towards the palace. Now, the slaves who are working in the palace, they saw something coming in the palace. And they go and check. Then they say, child inside. They took the child to the queen, the wife of the founder. When they saw the child, the child was so beautiful and so nice. So she admired the child. Allah said, وَالْقَيْتُ مَحَبَّةً مِنِّي. I placed love for you, Musa, in the heart of the Pharaoh's wife. She loved the baby because her slave was barren. She never had any child. So she took the baby and he said, give that child to me. But the order is, any child who is a boy must kill. Now she says, now the order is, if any child must be killed, they are going to kill this child. Now when the Pharaoh came, she told him, he says, my husband, there is a child who has been placed into the water. What do we do? He says, no, that must be killed. You don't know his father. And the order is, every child who is born boy and the son must be murdered. So the soldier took the child to cut him, to kill him. He says, wait. So she speaks to her husband and says, oh, my husband, what if I take this child? I don't have any child. You see, for so many years, me and you never get any child. As a wife, as a woman, I admire to have a child. At least let me keep this one. Only this one. Others you can keep, but only this one. I can keep this one at least. Then Pharaoh thought for a while and he says, you love this child? He says, yeah, admire, this is a beautiful child. How can you? I want us to keep him as our own child. Because we don't have one. That is when he says, okay, you can keep him. No problem, you can keep him. That's how Nabi Musa was saved. And then what happened next is Allah says, وَحَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ وَحَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ. When this woman, the wife of Pharaoh, her name is Asiya, when she took this child into her, into her adoption as her own, she tried to look for someone who can give this child the breastfeeding. Allah says, وَحَرَمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ, but we made Nabi Musa not to accept any woman's breasts. So they are looking for everybody among the women who can breastfeed this child. The queen wants a woman who can breastfeed the child, but no man can give them anyone. Now remember, one part I never tell you. Nabi Musa had a sister, elder sister, who was working in the palace. Now when she went back, when she went back home, she to go to home and tell her mother. She gave mother the news and said that, you know what? Musa has been found and is there in the palace. And now the wife of the king, Pharaoh, loved the child so much and he said, want to adopt him. So the mother was so happy. At least she knew, now my child is safe. But now how do I go, how do I connect myself? That love of a mother with her child, she doesn't know how it will happen. So he told her, don't worry. Allah who saved her will make you get united again to your son. Now, when they look for every woman to give breastfeeding and nobody is coming, she advised who? The sister of Nabi Musa, but they don't know he's a sister. She says, I know of a family. Those people, they can breastfeed any person on this earth. So they are desperate to save the child. They never thought twice. Says, okay, go bring that woman's family. She went and bring her mother. When that mother came, now love is more powerful than the law. The law can say something, but when love comes in, it supersedes the law. The law is to kill everybody, but now love is taking over. Now, because of the love the mother had for her son, she came into the palace to breastfeed her own son, but she came as a maid. She must not say he is her son, just to help feeding the son who belonged to the queen. That's how Allah said Nabi Musa, aleihwasallama, and she stayed in the palace from that day, taking care of her own son. Now, that is the celebration of Nabi Musa aleihwasallama in Quran with Allah's way. Now, for Nabi Isa is a full surah about the mother of Nabi Isa, who is Maryam. Allah is telling us how they were born, how Nabi Isa was born, how Maryam got pregnant, how Hassan Nabi Isa was born. So, without going into detail how he was born, because that's another topic of itself, it shows you that the birth of a prophet is something very, very, very important to be spoken about. That's why Allah spoke about the birth of Nabi Musa in details, and birth of Nabi Isa in details. But Quran is the last book. Allah never speak about how they were born in their books, like Nabi Isa gave me Injil. But when Allah revealed the Quran, Allah told us about how Nabi Isa was born. Because Allah doesn't tell people whom of the same nation how their prophet was born, because they know how he was born when they are alive. If Nabi Sallah was born, he was born in the year of the elephant, on the day which was Monday, and which is Monday, and on the time which was Rabil Awal, and it was the 12th of Rabil Awal. People who gave birth to Nabi Sallallahu were alive when he was alive. So what should Allah tell them about how he was born? How should you? Allah tell the parent? How should Allah speak about the parent of the child, that how he was born? They already know how they were born. So it is significant to tell those of a different generation how a previous person was born, because they don't know, they are not there. That's why Allah told us about the birth of Nabi Isa, Nabi Musa, and others. Now, Quran is being the last book, and Nabi Sallam is the last prophet. There's no any other book. If there was another book which Allah has revealed, Allah is going to reveal, Allah could have told that generation how Nabi Muhammad was born. How was he born, and how he grew up, and how he became a prophet. Just the way he did Nabi Musa and Nabi Isa. But the Quran is the last book. What Allah did, He gave that wisdom, the ulama of the ummah, so they can tell the generation after generation how his Habib Nabi Sallah was born, how he was raised, and how he was sent as a messenger, and how he brought Islam. That is all called Milad, the birth of Nabi Sallallahu. So for the ummah to tell others how he was born, where he was born, who was his father, who was his mother, how he grew up, how he became the mission, they choose a day to say, let's always acknowledge the month he was born and the day he was born. So in that gathering, we talk about how he was born, how he grew up, and what message of Islam he brought. Just exactly as how Allah did it for other prophets. That is how important it is, and that's how true it is in Islam. For those who are doing it, it is in Allah's way to know about the Prophet and celebrate his birth. Now I think I can answer you to say that celebrating his birth is part of Islam, is part of Sharia, is not bid'ah, that's not an innovation, because Nabi Sallallahu was born. He had a father and a mother. He was a prophet, and is to know about his history. If he never existed, and you're just inviting him to be, that's called bid'ah. You invite it in a deen. To invite in a deen meaning you bring something which was not there in the deen. But Nabi Sallallahu was born. He was there. He had a father, had a mother. He grew up as a normal boy. He became a man. He got married. He had wives and children, and was a prophet. Allah sent him to all people of the world with Islam. So because he was there, think about him is not innovation because he's not innovated. He was there. For example, so many things which were there, we speak about it. We speak about Jannah, about Nabi Adam, about this prophet, because they were there. The same thing is like, the hadith is clear. Innovation, bid'ah means to invent something which was not there. But something which is there, that's not an innovation. That is an implementation of what you are supposed to do in accordance to Allah's pleasure, seek Allah's pleasure and Allah's permission. Now, since Allah spoke about how prophets are born, Wasallama was born, there will be no any other prophet after him, there will be no any other Quran to come that Allah can speak about him. The Ummah must continue reminding others and the world how he was born, how he grew up, how he lived, and that's why people gather in commemorating the day he was born, the day he came into this world. I think that is clearly understood. For anybody who may have a question, you can he can tell us. He can tell us and send his question through. And then for anybody with a question regarding the same, just send on that WhatsApp number. We shall answer you in either in this live lecture or into another one. Just another point to make it more stronger to understand. Is it important now? That's what the permissibility. Is it permissible in Islam? Is it not bid'ah? Now the question, another question is it important that people should continue to celebrate the birth of Nabi Sallah aleih wasallam? And when should we do it? Now, like I said earlier, that remembering the birth of the Prophet is a foundation of his message, how Allah sent him to the people of the world. If you stop telling the people how he came in the world, they'll forget about him. Just like the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never allowed Quran to be changed from its original format. And people do preserve how the Quran was born, was written and revealed in Arabic context, just the way it is. Now, to keep this for 1,446 years is to preserve the truth as it is. That's why to always remember how Nabi was born, to celebrate him as the last prophet, is to tell the people, no anybody must come and claim prophethood today and until the day of judgment. And if that doesn't happen, people will come, so many of them, and will be the first, and they claim to be prophets, as in our time now, through shaitan that may mislead people. That's why, as the ummah, the ulamas of the ummah, our four shuyukh, Imam Malik, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Abu Hanbal, Imam Shafi, we follow, they always knew that this is the proper way of remembering Nabi Sallah, remembering his mission and what he brought, and to keep ourselves in contact so close to his family, to himself as a person and his family members. That's why people, they feel they have to gather, and he spoke about how he was born in that gathering, how Allah sent him as a messenger, and what message did he bring. That is very important. Now, another thing, having told you how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Quran, he gave him the chance to speak about the birth of Nabi Musa, the birth of Nabi Isa. Who can speak about his birth? If not you, the believer. Yes, Allah spoke about the birth of this prophet, but who can speak about his birth? No one. Only you, a believer. That's why a believer do not only take a message of Islam to others, but has to also told the people how Nabi was born and how Nabi grew up and how he became a person of so importance on this entire world, because Allah sent him as mercy for the entire universe. Now, for that reason, that is why the Ummah National Jama'ah of the followers of four Imam, they all came together for so many years, and they say we need to gather our people, children, women, professors, workers, in this month of Rabiul Awwal, and even in any other month, for them to come together and celebrate and know about their prophet, how he was born, how he existed, how he came on earth. Now, one more thing I'm going to add on this question to your answer, then we can go to something else. One more thing, just a minute. One more thing about how when Nabi Sallah was born. Now, remembering the birth of Nabi Sallah is so tremendous. It's actually not just something you can do willingly. It's a must. It's actually mandatory to us to remember it as believers, as Muslims. And for those who say it's bid'ah is what? That word bid'ah is not, it didn't come, well, it's not the first time it came in Islam. Allah speaks about it in the Quran. When he says, Nabi Sallallahu told them, Ma kuntu bid'a min ar-rusul. It's not you who have started to bring this message of Islam. Meaning, something which was being started but was not there. So that's what is bid'ah. Now that word bid'ah is used in order to laugh, in order to undermine, to confuse the believers and say what you're doing is innovation in Islam, but it's not innovation in Islam, because Nabi was born. That's the truth. Nabi Sallallahu was born, and his birth is not a normal birth. Any personality is a person who is a prophet, and what makes it very important that you must remember his birth are the things I'm going to show you. One, in the year Nabi Sallallahu was born, in that same year, some events took place. And among them is, which I'm going to tell you now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that Alam tara kaifa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Don't you see what Allah has done the people of the elephant, the army that was made out of elephant? Alam yaj'al kaydahum fi tadlil. Allah did not make their plan to go astray, to their plan to die out. When Allah sent to them the birds from Ababil, these birds came with stones from 1 feet, another feet, and in a mouth. But each stone which they threw on the head of an elephant, or the rider of the elephant, this stone entered into the head, through the head, and burned the whole inside part, the bones and the skeleton, all was burnt inside. And the person and the elephant, they all remained standing still in one place, but they are dead. Now that took place in the year called the Year of the Elephant. And why that happened? Because that king was staying in Ethiopia of today, which is called Habasha. Some like 2-3 years back, he built his own Kaaba. And he wanted the people to go in to visit his Kaaba, to worship it and then move around and make rituals like the way they do in Medina. Because he was a king who was a very powerful king. Ethiopia is very near to Saudi Arabia where the Kaaba is. So he wanted to say that even those, so when he invited, because in this kind of people coming and visit the Kaaba, they used to do business, they do trading. There are so many benefits in it. So many cultures come together from different areas. Now the king admired this and he wanted it. After he finished to build his Kaaba, so he went to break the Kaaba in Mecca so that there will be no any other house people can gather and celebrate except his house. So because it was a very powerful king, his army was made of elephants, not even horses. One elephant is very powerful. So he took this army of elephant to destroy the Kaaba. The story is very long. That time the leader of the Kaaba was the grandfather of Nabi Sallah. His name is Abdul Muttalib. That's the year when his son Abdullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make him married to his mother Amina. And she was by then pregnant. So Allah could not send some earthquake because the mother of Nabi Sallallahu aleihwasallama is pregnant. The earthquake may come and is going to trouble her. Allah could not send such strong winds to come and destroy the elephant because she will be disturbed. That's how important it is that the birth of Nabi Sallallahu is not an ordinary birth. It's a birth of a light for the entire universe, for the entire world. Even Allah put down measures that acknowledge the birth or the coming of the person to be born. That's why the way Allah destroyed these people was so calm and so quiet that the person couldn't even know that this elephant is dead, even the rider. Look at that wisdom. Meaning, Nabi Sallam was about to be born. Allah kept the calmness into that land. Even the kind of punishment Allah brought those people was the one which should not sabotage or disturb the mother who was pregnant. That is one point. Another point. When Nabi Sallallahu was about to be born, Allah closed the entire doors that enters in the heaven. Now, the skies which you see above, it's got doors. The doors for the skies are the stars. Allah says, wasallama wa tariq. Don't use about the stars, wa tariq, and the roads that go to the heavens. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ. How will you know the meaning of the roads? He says, النَّجْمُ الثَّاقِبُ. The stars which are so glittering, so bright. That's the road that can take a person through the earth, the heaven. Now, the jinnat and the angels. The jinnat are spiritual beings. Those look similar to human beings, but they can fly. So they used to fly from on earth, and they go to the skies. They used to go through those skies, through those stars, and they enter into the first heaven, and they hear what the angels are saying. Tomorrow, then is going to come. Tomorrow, this one is going to die. This will happen. Now, when they come back on earth, they should enter into they possess the heads of those people whom they are some leaders, the tribal leaders, and they will tell them what happened tomorrow. That so and so tomorrow is going to die, and then that person dies because they heard it has been explained. In a few days to come, there will be rain, and then it happens. So this was happening from the day Allah sent Nabi Adam throughout all prophets. But when Nabi Sallam was about to be born, Allah sent the angels, and they closed the entire skies. There was no energy jinnat that was allowed to go near the heavens again. The jinnat themselves tell this in Quran, as Allah says that before kunna naqudu minha maqaida lis-sam'i. We used to have a permanent places on the stars. We from the earth we go on the stars, so we can hear what the angels are saying in heaven. But فَمَنْ يَسْتَمِعِ الْآنَ, anyone who goes today, يَجِدْ لَهُ شِهَابًا رَصَدًا, he's going to be met with some missiles that are chasing him to be killed. When they try to access the heaven, the angels who protect the heaven on the same stars, they chase them back. Now the jinnat says this in Quran. They says, كُنَّ لَا نَدْرِي. We are wondering, and we don't know. أَشَرٌ أُرِيدَ بِمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Is it that Allah is going to close the earth and destroy it all? Because you can't get any information from the earth anymore, from the skies anymore. أَرَادَ بِهِمْ رَبِّهِمْ رَشَدًا. How Allah wants something better for them. We didn't know that. They should not remain. Now for them it was a very big thing. For example, you're a person who always go and do some business in another country. Then when you try to access the same route which you go every day, you get arrested. They chase you back. You can't make that business anymore. Now you're worried so much. What's going to happen to us? The jinnah themselves. And people, they were on earth. They thought, what is this happening? That after Nabi Sallah is about to be born. Look at this kind of a change. Allah himself changed the order of the heavens and the earth. And he placed angels on every star with missiles. If any jinnat tried to come out to the heaven, kill it. Now, the jinnat in the world, they're asking themselves, what's going to happen? Why is it like this? And for 40 years, they don't know the answer. Then one day, Nabi Sallah, after Allah sent him with the message of Islam, Allah sent him. When Allah sent him as a messenger, he was reading the Quran. Now the jinnat were passing by. They heard him reading the Quran, they came closer to him. When they hear someone reading the Quran, so they said, hey people, come. I'm talking about the jinnat who are Muslim. The jinnat who believe in Nabi Musa's book, Injil, and Nabi Isa. They say, please come. There is a book being recited by someone similar to the book of Nabi Musa. Come and listen. They came to listen. Nabi Sallah never knew that they're here. They came in such a big number. Allah says, وَلَمَّا قَامَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ يَدْعُوهُ كَادُوا يَكُونُونَ عَلَيْهِ لِبَدًا. When the servant of Allah was making ibadah and making salah, they came closer to him to listen, libada, and they squeezed each other until they were stuck each other like this. Because the jinnat doesn't have a physical body like us humans. They can come so close and come like a paper to each other. Or they can become so big like a house. Now when they come close, and then the meaning of libada, they became so close to each other and they stick to each other like this. There are millions and millions in a place listening to Nabi Sallah reading the Quran. Then in the message of the Quran Nabi Sallah was reading, they knew that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one thing which they knew is they knew Allah doesn't have a son. Because they hear people say Nabi is a son of Allah. Then they knew, okay, Allah doesn't have a son, people are lying. Now they know the reason why Allah closed the entire heaven, because Allah was sending another prophet who is the last prophet and sending to all people of the world. That is a very big acknowledgement to know. And so many other things took place. Not only that one, Allah changed the whole world, the leadership of the whole world when Nabi Sallah was born. The story is very long, how I can tell you this took place, this took place, this took place. Now if the Ummah celebrate the day was born, is a small thing to do compared to what Allah has done in closing the heavens until today. The jinnat can't access the way it was accessed before. Until today, Allah changed the whole world, that Islam came in the world. Islam came and established a kingdom from Mecca, from Medina, and is a very vast kingdom. Until today, there's a Muslim in every corner of the world. In China, in England, in America, everywhere there is Islam. Now, to remember a person who has a reason for that to happen is actually mandatory to those who believe. Now, those who confuse in Ummah, then I tell them, don't celebrate the Milad, don't bid'ah. They started with the Jews and non-Muslim people. To confuse Muslims, make them fight each other, and leave their deen, become weaker in their deen. Because that's the only way how they can love their prophet and love each other between themselves, and they are happy as Muslims. They celebrate to be Muslim, to be Islam. So it is the Jews who brought this to the mindset of the people, using the Salafism which was initiated and it started is also bid'ah. It came recently, not even 100 years, or like about 100 years, when they started the Saudi kingdom. That's when it started it. But all the years, imagine all the years since Nabi Sallah came, all the Sahabas who lived before us, all the ulamas who lived before the coming of the Saudi kingdom, they all celebrated the birth of Nabi Sallah. You can't tell me that now only these who came 100 years are those who knows Islam better than those who lived more than 1,300 years ago. It's impossible. It's a confusion which they brought into the Ummah to make Muslims forget about their Islam, forget about their love for Islam, their love for each other, because in this month they help the poor, they feed each other, they meet, because it's a month or focusing on Islam as a religion and the people as believers. And only is done through celebrating of the birth when Nabi Sallah was born.
Thank you so much, Mufti. My second question is the different ways of how people celebrate the Milad, the birth of the Prophet ﷺ. We see them marching, a lot of people together, they go on the road with their cars, and they're waving the flag. We call it the julus. So tell us, Mufti, regarding that.
Okay. The question is very simple. People, they walk or they march into the roads in a gathering, and in that they'll be having flags, and they'll be moving from one end to another end, which is called julus in some other languages. It is called in a nation where the community is not Indian or not Pakistani language. They call it zafaf. Zafaf means kind of a celebrating which is done in Arabic word on the wedding. When there is a wedding, the Arabs has the rituals or the celebration they make before the wedding itself, whereby the families come together, people come with the daf to sing and be happy because of the wedding which is taking place. So they call it zafaf or zafaf, and then the same thing which is called a julus in another area or on Asian side. Julus mean, it is a Persian word, mean to march or to walk in the road in gathering. Now that is part of telling the people that people, look, we are Muslim, and in this month is the month when our Islam was born on earth. Our Islam, we celebrate, we are Muslim. This is how Islam is. There's nothing wrong with it, as long as they don't mix between men and women to march in the road as they go to announce about Islam, about Nabi Sallah. So those who are not Muslim must know it, and the Muslim must wake up and know about their religion and what is happening in Islam, just to make the community always keep it awakened about Islam, love their deen, to be close to it. And for those who have not yet been participating, go and participate in this julus. Is a sign of love for Nabi Sallah and sign of love for your deen of Islam.
Thank you so much, Mufti. My third question is the feeding of the people on the day of the Milad, the day they are celebrating, and the feeding of the poor.
Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran that I think Surah to Nur, another surah is the Ma'idah. Allah says, La junaha alaykum. You are not prohibited. And akulu jami'an, to eat in a gathering, to share the meal in a gathering. Or to eat one person. Islam, Allah has thing about it. There's no anything wrong in you cooking the food and then eat together as people have been gathered in one place. That is, Allah says, La junaha alaykum. It is no problem upon you believers. And ta'kulu jami'an, either you eat in a gathering together, or eat one by one. Allah says in another verse, He says, La junaha alaykum fima ta'imu idha mattaqaw wa amanu. There's no problem in what you feed. But as long as the feeding is about idha mattaqaw wa amanu, you have taqwa in that, and the believers. Meaning, in this gathering and celebration, people, they go off Islam. They bring alcohol, they bring naked women, they bring music, people are dancing and drinking and eating. Allah doesn't want that. But if you have got taqwa, like for example, when it's about the Milad, the birth of Nabi Sallah being celebrated, people come with the fear, taqwa in their hearts. They perform their salah, they sit calmly in their places. Women are sitting aside, men on the other side, and their sheikh give them the khutbah and give them, and then after that, they are given their served with food. Allah says, La junaha alaykum fima ta'im, but there's no problem in that. Taqwa, as long as what you are doing, you have got taqwa. Amanu, you have taqwa and you are believers. That's one thing. Another thing, is a hadith which Nabi Sallah was saying that أطعموا الصلاة وأطعموا الطعام وصلوا بالليل. 3 things that you must do as a believer always. He says, give salam when you meet someone anonymously. Any person that you don't know, those who always give salam so much that a person, a non-believer will not know this is a Muslim, this is how they greet. Afshu salam bainakum. He says, وَأَطِيمُوا الطَّعَامَ. Engage yourself in feeding the people. Feeding the people, feed your visitors if you invite them. Feed those who are in need, those who doesn't have anything to eat, who are the poor. Buy the grocery, give them when it's raw, that they can cook themselves, or cook it, invite them and feed them. That is one of the work that a believer must do. And he said, "Wasallu bilal," and don't forget to wake up for 30 salah to make salah, 2 rakah, 4 rakah, 8 rakah, 12 rakah in the night. Allah loves those things from a believer. Now, in the bath, in the celebration, in acknowledgement, how Nabi Sallah was born on earth, people gather in one place. They spend 2-3 hours. They'll be hungry. Then, at the end of the program, they are served with a very good meal. Not only permissible, it's a must to serve your guest. Nabi Sallah say that man kana, anyone yu'minu billah, believe in Allah, فَلْيُكْرِمُ ضَيْفَهُ, you must give respect to your visitors. So when you invite people, they come to your home, or you make it as a community, as a masjid, you invite others together, you must make a meal which you are going to serve, either dinner or supper. It doesn't matter, whatever time it is part of what Allah has ordered us to do. You are feeding other people who may need that food, others they need so much, which is being served. And those years when these were still taking place, the world has much of barakah. But now the barakah is going out because people are getting out of Islam slowly when they stop doing such kind of things. And